Jacobs, the Balance Doctor. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of The Kim Jacobs Show. Be sure to subscribe to The Kim Jacobs Show right on YouTube. Turn on your notification bell to all so you never miss a beat. And guess what? Every time you watch, you're going to receive a real relevant and relatable guest that's going to share with you a piece of the puzzle on this journey called life that will help you be able to manage just a little bit smoother. At the end of the day, the Kim Jacobs Show goal is to be able to provide balance to the world, one household at a time.
Kim Jacobs Show. You're watching Kim Jacobs Show.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of the Kim Jacobs Show. Welcome, Shelly Fan.
Hello.
I'm so excited to have you on today. I absolutely love your name, Shelly Fan. I don't think you can get a better name than that, can you?
I agree. I love it. People ask me all the time, is that a stage name? I'm like, no.
Oh, wow. So that's your government name.
It's my government name. It's actually pronounced Fafan.
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 That's even better. Y'all go ahead and tag your friends, tag your family, tag your coworkers, tag anybody you know, whether you like them or don't like them. Because guess what? Everyone gets the opportunity to hear how important it is not to self-sabotage. We self-sabotage so much, even if it's unbeknownst to ourselves, unknowingly, subconsciously. We're self-sabotaging all the time. But Shelly, fun.
Hey, like you did that nice.
You know people work your name all day long, right?
Yes, there was a time when I was running for office and everybody was like, I'm a fan. So like that just became like the campaign phrase. So yes, I love
I'm a fan, but I'm a fan. I'm a fawn of fawn. That's the real deal, y'all. Y'all done mispronounced it. All right, everybody, listen, we're going to have a great episode today. So we want to give you the opportunity to share it with your friends. We're going to take 30 seconds to do that right from the beginning. Tag about 10, 15 people right during this quick episode break. That 30 seconds goes so fast, right?
I know. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm still sharing.
We're back. Listen, today you're going to hear from a woman that is an expert in her own right and has so much information to share. We don't want to miss a moment. Shelly Fanfan is a Haitian American female born in Manhattan and raised in the Queens Village in New York. We're going to talk about her family background and everything, but Shelly is the founder and sole owner of Ask Shelly Consultant LLC, where she consults with corporations, individuals, and other business entities, ministries, and organizations to maximize performance and productivity. She is actually a degree holder with a bachelor's degree in psychology from the University of Central Florida, in addition to 2 master's degrees from Florida State University in mental health, counseling, and human services and systems. Welcome, Shelly Fanfan, to the Kim Jacobs Show.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Well, I am. I don't know if I'm equally excited or more excited, but I think we share our enthusiasm here today. You have a passion for helping people recognize that self-sabotage is something that kind of comes from within. I would really like to know where you came from. Who are you? Where did your journey begin? And where did you even realize that self-sabotaging was real in your own life? So talk to us and let's get this thing started.
Absolutely. When it comes to self-sabotage, if you put that in Google, you will see this. My face when it's everybody else's fault. I'm the victim. I am a survivor of self-sabotage, and self-sabotage almost killed me. And everybody self-sabotages differently. for me, it was adopting a lifestyle that just exacerbated the depression and the stress and the anxiety that I was feeling every day, causing me to have to wear a mask every single day. So I tell this story like, think about a woman who is just fly. She's beautiful. She dresses nice. She's powerful, business owner, boss lady. Also, think about a woman who is struggling. She has to look in her bank account just to buy a Happy Meal for her children. House a mess, laundry everywhere, paperwork a mess. I was both women on the same day, almost every day. I
Wow.
was living this life of just powerlessness and not necessarily making decisions that were aligned with my goals, that were aligned with my values. So I wanted freedom. I wanted to be a powerful leader, but I had an issue with not being able to say no. And so I would say yes to everything and overburden myself and then wonder why I felt so stuck and couldn't move forward. But every opportunity that came my way, I said yes, 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 not understanding that good is not always God.
Well, that's so good. That's so good. Good is not
Yes.
always God. Good is not always God,
Right. And
y'all.
I
This
would
is
just
good.
say yes and yes. And I was overburdened. I couldn't be present for my kids. And then I would cry out to God, like, I don't want to live like this. I don't have time for myself. And I want to be more present for my children. I want to be a more effective leader. I don't want to feel like my whole life is just work, 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 and I didn't realize that I was doing it to me because every time, like I left New York and I came to Florida, the same issues I had in New York were the same issues I had in Florida. Why? Because the
Mhm.
issue was me, my decision making patterns, my thought patterns, my behavioral patterns. And
Yes.
so understanding that I had the capacity to influence outcomes in the earth, like I had the capacity
That's
to
right.
attract things that would literally cause me to live in my smile. When I realized that, it changed my entire life. And so now I call myself the self-sabotage expert. When people come to me and they're talking about their husband, their kids, their boss, their this, I take it right back to the only entity that we have power and control over, and that is ourselves. Point
Yes.
blank, end of story.
Yes, that's everything that you're saying already. I hope to God that you all will not allow anyone to miss this information going into this holiday season where everyone points the finger and puts the blame on this is this person's fault. This is this reason why I'm sad. This is the reason why I'm not happy. This is why I'm experiencing what I'm experiencing. Blah, blah, blah. Guess what? This woman, Shelly Fonfon, is here to tell us how we can hold our own selves accountable and how we can have a better outcome for our own lives. Don't
Right.
deprive anybody of the opportunity to hear this today because some great information coming from her. Now, you say that good is not always God. I know in the book that I'm writing right now, I talk about opportunities that present themselves that don't always mean that those are opportunities for you. So, what do you mean by good is not always God?
My coach, she is amazing. Her name is Colleen Otero. She says this all the time. One way to kill a dream is with yet another dream. So sometimes we have to understand that great opportunities may not necessarily be your opportunities. Good is not always God. We all have a lane that we should stay in and make sure that we are very strategic about how we are elevating, how we are allowing promotion to come to our lives. And so saying yes to every great opportunity, it lowers your value. You're everywhere. What's your brand message? What is it that you're doing? What's your expertise at? You're just in everything. You're a publicist, you're a therapist, you're a coach, it's like you do financial services. Sometimes we have to just slow down and tap into the very reason why we were created. That's our purpose. It's not something that we look for. It's something that we dig for. It's on the inside of us. It's programmed on the inside of us. And so we have to Be very intentional about engaging that purpose and assure that the things that we do say yes to is in line with pushing that purpose forward. So not every good thing is a God thing.
That's good. Yes. Okay. Now, what about your upbringing? Did you always get endorsed and supported and people believed in you? Tell us a little bit about how you grew up.
So I grew up in a very strict Haitian household, raised Catholic, and I was raised to believe that you don't need friends. You got family, that's all that you need. So it's family centeredness, a very strong believing family, just really walking by faith and not by sight. I know that that's very cliche for kingdom
Right.
believers, but that was just how I watched my parents live. That's how I watched my aunts live. That's how I watched my uncles live, especially my grandparents. And so I live a life that is specific to that, that there are facts and there are truth. And so sometimes my truth doesn't always align with the facts, and that's okay. I will acknowledge the facts, but I am going to stand flat footed in my truth. And that has been a posture that has helped me to elevate. Was
Mm.
I always supported? Well, my parents' definition of support is not what I define as support. And so my parents went above and beyond to make sure that my sister and I had the best of the best. We went to Catholic school, we wore the best. We had great, we had a grandmother that helped my mom in taking great care of us. And but to go to a track meet, no. To go to a dance competition, no. Because in their minds, your only role is to get straight A's and to be
Oh,
successful, be a doctor, be a lawyer. We have made all these sacrifices in order for you to do just that. And
oh,
so all
wait,
the
wait,
extra,
wait. I have to interrupt you for a second
go
on
ahead.
purpose. I'm not just like being rude here. I'm trying to understand. Are you saying that your parents were more like those are extracurricular for real? You know how people say extracurricular activities? Your parents really was a true definition
Oh,
of
yeah.
that's a nicety. That's an extra. And we're
Yeah,
not dealing with that. We need to know that you are right in your mind educationally and equipped to handle the rest of your life. That's what I'm hearing.
that's it. When I would say, Mom, I need new spikes for track. And she'd be like, go read a book. What you wanting for? Read that book. It's like, well, I want to run. I like to run or I like to dance. They just didn't see the value in extracurricular activity. So they
Wow.
weren't very supportive of that. And so that was tough because I had to really pull from inner motivation. When everybody else's parents are there and they cheer you on in the stands, it wasn't my experience. And so, but while that's hurtful and while it was hurtful, I learned how to tap into inner motivation. So when no one else is cheering me on, it doesn't matter because I'm cheering me on. What I believe and what I think about myself, my vision, that has been able to catapult me in times where nobody else is cheering me on, and that's okay.
Yes. So you at an early age learned how to cheer yourself on in
That's
spite of
right.
who supported you, who believed in you. So they didn't prevent you from being in the sport. They were just saying, we'll have no parts of it, young lady.
That's
We won't.
right. And there were times I think my mom went out to a national dance competition. It was televised at SeaWorld here in Orlando, and that was a blessing. And she was amazed to see it. Like, how do you get your legs so far up? But for the most part, their investment was in our education. They wanted us to be the top of our class. They wanted to be the greatest versions of ourselves. There was no such thing as bringing in B's, C's, D's. It just
Wow.
wasn't it wasn't part of the multiple choice options. It just wasn't. But I thank
Wow.
God for that because it has given me a spirit of excellence that has helped me to be an
Yeah.
effective business owner.
It has. I can see that. I mean, okay, before I put this comment up, because once I put something out there, I can't retract it. And once you've done that, you're like, you should have asked for permission. The comment that I typed here, and tell me if it's reflective of what you're saying. Parents didn't support extracurricular activities often. Education was the priority. their investment was in education. Shelly Fan. Is
That's
that
it.
okay? I don't want to
That's
put anything. You'd be like, okay, that's just for that right now. I'm getting ready to disconnect from this stupid show. I don't want.
No, that's it. You got it. You hit the nail on the head.
All right, all right. So I always like to be reflective and considerate of what my guests are saying and make sure that I'm capturing that specifically versus rewording it. Okay, listen, as we're talking today about self-sabotage, I did go and Google, and you said Google it and it would see you. So when I see Googling this, it says self-sabotaging, meaning the self-sabotage is when we actively or passively take steps to prevent ourselves from reaching our goals. And this behavior can affect nearly every aspect of our lives, our relationships, career goals, personal goals, and even things like weight loss. So it goes a lot deeper, but that is a interesting school of thought. It impacts, it's like a ripple effect, and it impacts everything. When we come back, I would like for you to tell us where did it begin for you to really self-sabotage? Because you already seem like you had a good upbringing, people believed in you. When did you, so you had a lot of things going for you. Your backstory doesn't sound like one that would cause you to self-sabotage. So I'm kind of like, when did this pop off that self-sabotage even began? I want to hear that after this commercial break. Is that fair?
Absolutely.
All right. So everybody listen, we'll also go to our studio audience comments. And so make sure you flood the comments over there, and we'll do a flash round and give you the opportunity to ask questions of our guest today, Shelly Fanfan. And then we will also let me put this link here too, in case anybody wants to come over and pop in into the actual broadcast. That's a way for you to pop into the broadcast as well. So right after this commercial break, we're going to hear how self-sabotage really began for Shelly Fanfan. I can't even envision it. So I can't wait to hear it. Here we go.
I'm attorney Kenneth D. Snow, and at the Snow Legal Group, justice is our job.
For more than 20 years, Attorney Snow has been fighting for justice and winning cases in the Carolinas by providing aggressive representation in criminal defense, domestic violence, family law, serious injury, and wrongful death. If you've been injured or lost a loved one in an accident, including tractor trailer or rideshare, you need the Snow Legal Group by your side, fighting for justice and fighting for you. Visit snowlegal.com. Call 704-358-0026 for a free virtual consultation. Located at 6827 Fairview Road, Suite D in South Park.
All right, everyone. And we are back with Shelly Fanfan. And I want to hear from you where this self-sabotage actually began.
Word accuracy is so important. I often, with my clients, catch inaccuracies in the words that they use. Mm-hmm. For example, I get a lot of people that come in and they want help with procrastination. And at the end of the day, we discover that it's not procrastination, it's self-sabotage. The procrastination becomes an act of self-sabotage. So let's go back to the meaning. Okay. And you read it off of Google. It is any set of or any patterns of thought, behavior, decision-making that causes you to have these goals, but the actions cause you to move away from the goals or go in the opposite direction.
Right.
So I had goals to be an amazing mom and to be a present parent, but every opportunity that came my way, I was saying yes, 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 which lessened the time and the opportunity for me to be a present parent.
Right.
I wanted to be an amazing business owner and scale my business. But I was saying yes to this board. I'll be the chair for this board. I'll be the president of the chapter. Oh, you need a chaplain over here. And so those decisions were pulling me further away from the very thing that I said I wanted.
Right.
That's self-sabotage. And so overperforming caused me to attract outcomes that were undesirable because I was always tired. I felt like I was always missing out. I wasn't happy, and it caused depression. It caused stress. It caused anxiety. And I'm going to tell you about when I realized that things just had to stop. But going back, The
Wow.
overperforming was a lack of self-acceptance. Somehow I had learned that this is what success looked like. Success looked like being on all these boards, and success looked like being out in the community, and the success looked like having 3 different community mental health centers, although we were fine when we had just one. I was overperforming and overperforming and overperforming. I was a perfectionist, which is also a sign of a lack of self-acceptance. And so somewhere along the line, the very definition that I had for success was hanging me. It was incarcerating me. And I had to get to a point where I realized it wasn't everybody else. It wasn't that, I'm so tired of people always calling on me. I'm so tired of everyone expecting me to just be present. I'm so tired of being the strong one. Well, guess what? When you have poor boundaries and you are allowing people to emotionally vomit on you, when they know that you're going to be the first one there and the last one to leave them, they're going to continue to expect just that. So my lack of boundaries, my lack of assertiveness, my inability to say no, even though I wanted to, my lack of discipline, all of that created this lifestyle that I absolutely hated. And when I had to stop blaming everybody else, I went to the heart of the problem, and it was me.
Wow.
So I have this thing that I do.
Do it here. Do it here.
My handwriting is horrible. I'm left-handed, and my parents used to always say, you have horrible handwriting. So this is 1 + 1 = 2, right?
Yes.
Okay. Do you agree that this is an accurate statement?
Are you asking me or the studio audience?
Whoever.
Okay.
Does 1 + 1 = 2?
Does 1 + 1 = 2, everyone? Let's answer that question. Anybody in the studio audience, take a stab at it. Does 1 + 1 = 2?
And it's funny because now when I ask this, there's all these different ways of doing math. We don't even know, is this an accurate statement anymore?
Right.
I can't even help my kids with their math homework. But let's
no. Some of the math, they're like, does what? Does 1 + 1 =
So 1 +
2?
1 = 2. It does. So this is an accurate statement. So I am going to circle the first number, right?
Yes.
So let's assume
Veronica, I see you.
We can't do anything with the number that's circled, right?
Right.
We can't do anything with the number that's circled, but the number that's underlined, we can do whatever we want with that number. Okay. So if we want to make the 2 a 5, what do we have to do with that number that's underlined? What do we have to change it to?
If you want to make the 2 a 5, then you have to change that number to a 4.
That's right. Okay. Right. If we want to make that 2 a 100, what do we have to do with that underlined number?
Put it as a 99. Do we know?
If we want to make that 2 a 1000, what do we have to do with that underlined number?
Guys, I'll give you a chance to answer if you want in the studio audience. So I'm not just taking I see you, Trey Perry. Glad to have you on today. See you, Veronica Harris, as well. My cousin, glad to have you. And all of you that are joining today. That needs to be 999 is what
that's right. It has to be 999. So look at that. We could make that 2 whatever we want, so long as we can change that number. We were able to make that 2 whatever we wanted, even though we didn't have any power over the circle 1. If you want to change your 2, you have to start with you, period. If you want to change your 2, you have to start with you. And so I may not have been able to change the sorority. I may not have been able to change the community. I may not have been able to change my husband. I may not have been able to change, my staff that just weren't doing what they needed to do. But I had the power to change myself. And so when I started on a journey to really, identify those thought patterns that caused me to overperform, the black and white thinking, the all or nothing thinking, the victimized thinking, this idea of, you know what, I might as well do it myself. All the things that were causing me to live a life that increased and worsened my depression and anxiety. As soon as I started to work on myself, I became so empowered. I became so empowered. And so now no is a complete sentence.
Oh, girl, that's in my whole book, Extreme Balance Makeover.
Hello.
I have a whole lot of ways that you can say no and mean it. And you can give it as an alternative option. If you're the person that, like me, I don't always, Shelly, like to say no, right? So what I do is I may say no, because it is a sentence, no, period. Can't do that anymore. I understand that I can't do that. And not can't to me, what it means won't try. So I won't even try to do that. Okay.
Hello.
I'm not going to do that. But there are some situations where I really do want to offer a solution. It's just that I can't do it on that particular day that they're asking. So I would give them the option and say, I won't be able to do it on this day, but I will be able to do it on this day, and give them that option. And another thing, Shelly, that I've done that's worked well is I may not be able to do it, but I may be able to refer them to someone that can do it. And
That's
so
good.
no still is happening, but it's no with a nice, I'm sorry, I can't do that because I cannot put anything else on my plate because I'm one person and I'm not going to
Right.
overload myself like that. So
Right.
I agree with everything that you're saying as well. And just so you know, I'm the balance doctor. So I'm Kim Jacobs, the balance doctor. And that's what I bring to the world. I give people the opportunity to know that you can overcome your circumstances and your situations. It's not, the world is not coming to an end. If we balance this thing according to God's will for our lives, guess what?
Yes.
And it doesn't even matter if it looks like we're out of balance, because there are some things that's happening in different seasons of my life that you'll be like, girl, I know that ain't no balance. Yes, it is, because it's God's will for that particular season in my life.
That's good.
So, just so you know. All right. So we're talking with Shelly Fonfon today here on the Kim Jacobs Show. And this all or nothing thinking, do it myself thinking type of thing, this is what can lead to self-sabotage. So what steps do you recommend that people take, Shelly, that are in this season of their lives and they are living with self-sabotage, doing it, and they don't know how to get off of the hamster wheel. They don't know how to get off to start in a new direction. What advice would you give those individuals when we come back? Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. We'll be right back after this commercial break, talking with Shelly Fonfon here on the Kim Jacobs Show. And she's dropping some knowledge. Drop the mic, y'all.
It's not just another day. It's a brand new day, full of all the fun, love, and laughter you and your family create. Silver Shield Security understands feeling at home means feeling safe and happy. No credit checks, no contracts. We offer payment arrangements, and we'll even give you a free door camera. Find out how we can brighten your day even more at silvershield-security.com. Silver Shield Security.
All right, and we're back with Shelly, and I wanted to find out, Shelly, what advice would you give to individuals that are self-sabotaging?
So there's two things that I want to say, and then I'm going to provide a resource. One of the things that keep me in business are people who normalize abnormalities. And one of the things that we like to do, and I say we, talking about people of color mostly. Everyone does it. I'm just saying, I see it mostly with people of color, where we will normalize abnormalities and call it resilience. So we have to get to a point where we realize that our inability to get 8 hours of uninterrupted rest is a problem. Your inability to obtain and maintain healthy relationships is a problem. Your inability to take your anger from a 10 to a 4 is a problem. Your inability to regulate your emotions so you are not reacting like you're some type of animal is a problem. Your inability to reframe your thoughts into positive, productive thoughts is a problem. Your inability to not come out of that sadness is a problem. Your inability to decompress is a problem. Your inability to stop those unwanted, unhelpful. Like, we have to get to a place where we realize that these are abnormalities. And although it may be common, doesn't mean that we have to accept them in our lives. So that's number one, being able to see the things that are unfavorable in our lives as something that you have the power to change. Change cannot happen outside of a state of awareness. It just cannot. You don't just wake up one day and like, oh, my black and white thinking is gone. Oh, my promiscuity is gone. Oh, my procrastination is gone. It just doesn't, change doesn't happen outside of a state of awareness. And so many of us are not in a state of awareness that we're even self-sabotaging. So if you are at a place in your life where life outcomes is not a manifestation of the goals that you have for yourself, if you are not manifesting abundance, if you are not manifesting prosperity, if your life does not reflect that you are above, if your life is not reflecting that you are the head, if your life is not reflecting that you are the son and daughter of a living king, that is a problem. And usually when it's happening on a consistent basis, when you find that there's a pattern of outcomes that are being drawn to your life, that is a sign of self-sabotage. I put in the chat, it's a resource on Psychology Today, and it's like a 30-item review for someone to go through and answer those questions, right? And in answering those questions, if you are a self-sabotager, it will be revealed.
Wow.
And so these questions, it talks about ways that you handle conflict, ways that you decide, and things of that nature. There are others. I like this one on Psychology Today. And so I would offer that as a resource. But I want to say that one of the main reasons why many of us self-sabotage is because we have unresolved emotional injury.
Right.
Unresolved emotional injury.
That's
And
good.
being well is our right. It's our kingdom right to be happy, to be at peace, to be joyful. That's our kingdom right. And so I am encouraging everybody within the sound of my voice, ask 3 very honest, assertive friends this next question. Do you think I'm well?
Do you think
Do you
I
think
am
I'm well? Ask 3 honest, in your face, straight from the hip friends that question. Do you think I'm well? And based on the answer, be ready to respond. It's a sad thing when we have an awareness of something, but we're not responsive to the very thing that we are aware of. I've heard people say, like, oh, I'm aware that I got problems with men. I got that, but you know what? It is what it is. No,
It doesn't have to be what it is. Why does it have to be what it is? If that's not acceptable.
How do you have aware? Yeah, go ahead.
I share your sentiments. I share everything that you're saying. This is not normal. We cannot act like it's normal and normalize it because it is bad behavior. It is unacceptable. And it's something I know in situations that I deal with sometimes. I told my mom recently, when I deal with certain things, I can feel pain in my chest. And I'm not about I'm not about to let this little one heart that God gave me go under attack because of something that someone on the outside is doing that's trying to agitate or aggravate me when I am in control of my own response and my space of who I expose myself to. I don't have, you can be doing whatever you think is what you want to do, that you're big and bad enough to do. It does not mean that I have to be subject to it.
That's so good.
Because you have a problem, not me. And I do not share in the philosophy. Please tell me if you're the expert here. I'm here. I'm simply the host. This is Kim saying this, y'all. I do not share in the philosophy that people say, well, in relationships and in marriage and this, it takes two. And if things go wrong, then you need to be accountable for what your part was. You get the freak out of my face, because guess what? I believe wholeheartedly that everyone knows right and everyone knows what's wrong. When somebody is choosing to do wrong in a situation, I didn't make you do wrong. You made yourself do wrong or whatever. I don't know, the enemy, the devil, call it whatever you want, but it's not anything to do with that particular person that's on the other end of that relationship. Fill in the blank as to whether it's you, a friend, a cousin, an aunt, whoever. It doesn't mean that both of those people did something that made that situation go wrong. Both parties could have stayed involved internally and worked it out and came up with solutions through the proper means, which is counseling or whatever the case may be, right? Or am I missing it?
Well, listen, personal responsibility is personal responsibility. So I agree with you. Why should I be at fault or take any type of blame for something that you are personally responsible for?
Right.
What I see though, when I'm dealing with married couples, and this is where it doesn't become so linear, is
Okay.
when you have accepted it for so long,
Okay.
and now you are here ready to walk out the door. You have to now take personal responsibility for the fact that you allowed it for 20 years.
That's
You
good.
see what I mean?
That's good.
So
Shelly
it's not to
Fun.
take blame.
Shelly Fun is the expert. She like, don't try and get brand new now. You've been dealing with this joker all of this time. Now all of a sudden you saying, oh, you've come to yourself. So that's good.
Right. And it doesn't mean that we can't expect greater for people.
Of course.
But we have to first acknowledge the part that we played. Your allowance was acceptance.
Wow. But the thing is, and again, because over many years, we've counseled hundreds upon hundreds of, probably thousands of couples, and people don't always know what's being done to them when they come in and they're talking and they're like, I didn't even know this was happening, or whatever the case may be. So in situations like that, you can say, now that you have come into the knowledge of the truth, you have some decisions to make, or if you're going to go ahead and get some counseling, or you guys going to change the behavior, what's going to be the outcome? And so that kind of stuff, when it comes to self-sabotaging, since that's what we're talking about today, is making that conscious decision that this is not reflective of who I am and what I want for my own life. Right. And what I believe God has ordained me to be and purpose for me to be.
Yes.
So what are we going to do about it so that we don't feel like we're self-sabotaging by belittling and lowering our standards to accept any old thing?
That's so good. Bam.
Is that and that right there is endorsed by Shelly Fine.
I love it. Yeah, we're not shrinking here. No. Wow. We're not shrinking. God is a God of multiplication. Multiplication is growth, new levels after new levels. We're not shrinking for anyone.
I love it. I love it. So ask 3 friends the question, do you think I am well? And if they say no, what do you say to that, Shelly?
Be ready to be responsive. It goes back to what we just said. To have awareness and not be responsive to that awareness is an issue. It got to a place where my kids, there was a time I was being audited, and my kids told the auditor, what did they say? Like, mommy cries at night or something like that. Like, yeah. I mean, it was like in my face that something has to change. It just was. And then I had an issue where I thought I was having a heart attack. I had to be hospitalized. It got to a point where God was saying, you have to take life by the horns. And so emotional injury, you can either address it voluntarily,
right,
or it will chase you and find you. And when unresolved emotional injury chases you and finds you, this is where you hear that someone lost their mind. This is when you hear that such and such started self-injurious behavior, cutting themselves. This is when you hear that,
right.
this is when it happens. This whole idea of nervous breakdown and things of that nature. We need to be proactive about our mental health. And so when you start to hear that people are saying, well, you're kind of irritable all the time. You're angry all the time.
All the time. You mad, girl. You gotta calm down.
You have issues with everybody, like everybody.
And maybe it's you. Maybe it's me. If I have issues with everybody that I encounter, the common denominator is me. I need to do something different. Wow.
I'm an advocate for therapy. I'm a huge advocate for therapy. Therapy can be reactive, meaning that you have realized that there are some things going on and you want to address it. It can also be proactive, that I go once a month just for a tune-up to sit in a space with a professional, non-judgmental, and I could just unload. I can hear a different perspective. Sometimes we are in spaces and places where all of our friends, all of our peers, our associates, all have the same mindsets and values as us. I don't think that's healthy.
I don't think that's healthy either. I don't want to sit in the same circle with all of us agreeing on everything. I know in my circle, that's not the case, because my friend Sean, she would be like, okay, let me tell you from a boss up perspective. I'm like, I gotta do that. I gotta say what? That's not. I don't even talk like that. She's not. That's the whole point. And she's like saying all kind of stuff. But I would never ever ever
Yeah.
remotely think to say, but I don't even think like that. So it's like she sharpens me, and it gives me a different perspective that it's like, she's like, oh no, girl, let me tell you right now. Cause see, game, no game. I'm like, game, no game. What game?
Yes.
What game is being played on me? And
Yes.
I don't even see it. It's like la 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 la. Boop.
Man.
And my friend is like, quack, 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 quack. So I
It's
agree
so
with you.
important. And I think that's, that's what therapy does is, you'll have someone that'll be able to say, you're doing it again.
Yes.
You're outperforming again. You are placing way too much value on what people think about you. You're doing the same, you're engaging in the same behaviors. You're still expecting new outcomes. You're not walking in your power. That was a very fear-based thought that you just said. That thing that you just said was very fear-based. That's another limited core belief. Listen to what you just said. Can you repeat what you just said? Write that down and read it out. That's what therapy does. We're not giving advice. I'm not paying these student loans because I give advice. It's scientific, evidence-based interventions that cause you to break thought and behavioral patterns that don't serve you. And so I'm a huge advocate of therapy, and I think that people should start there.
I agree with you. And I love going to therapy myself. And I welcome the opportunity to have maintenance even when nothing is going on, so that I get a third party perspective of just saying, hey, I need to just data dump. I need to unload. Whoosha.
Yes.
And this is a safe place to do it. So I
Yes.
hope that if you don't have a counselor, that you get one. And if you don't have a counselor, but you have a good friend that you trust and that they're going to hold you accountable, definitely have that relationship. So listen, when we come right back, we're going to go to some of our studio audience comments. So if you have questions, comments, thoughts, go ahead and pop them in now. We're going to come right back right after this commercial break with Shelly Fonfon, who's talking to us about self-sabotaging behavior. And she is dropping some knowledge today, y'all.
When someone has lost a loved one, they want to know what exactly happened. They want to know, is the other person going to be held responsible? And they want closure. At Hunter and Everett, we help clients that have lost a loved one move on, and to do that with dignity and respect that they deserve.
Right, everyone, and we are back with Shelly Fonfon. And I do want to take a moment because we're talking about death in that particular commercial with attorney Charles Everett and with Hunter Everett Law Firm. They also deal with disability claims as well. So if you have a client that a person or yourself and you've been denied a claim of some sort, make sure that you don't just take that answer. Give them a call and let them know that the Kim Jacobs Show sent you their way. 704-377-9157. And I also want to introduce you all to Lamb Funeral Home. Lamb Funeral Home is located, they're in the Concord, North Carolina area, but they are certified in all 50 states. This is one of our episode sponsors today as well. Their family is eager to serve yours. Their phone number is 704-782-3011. And they have over 28 years of funeral home experience. But the thing that really stands out to me is that Mr. Terry Lamb, who's the owner, he's a veteran, so he has all of the ins and outs of veteran benefits. If you have an adult child that is a dependent of a veteran, or you are a spouse of a veteran, make sure you give them a call, 704-782-3011, and let them know we sent you their way. All right, so Shelly Fonfon, talk to us some more.
All right. Well,
I was going to go to the studio audience comments. They're going to be like, you said you were going to come in. But I see you go right with the flow. Good. I see you. Let me come to the studio audience for a second and make sure I don't dismiss any of these comments over here. Let's see. Okay, I see you, Veronica Harris. Glad to have you. That's my cousin. She has a travel business and she can do sea and land packages. So make sure you connect with her. She's a lovely spirit and loves working with people as well. Glad to have you, V. Let's see. More comments that came. So a lot of comments and tips, things that you guys can apply. I see you, Mommy. Glad to have you on today. How are you? So glad that you're visiting with me as well here in the Charlotte area for the holidays. And so glad. Yes, 1+1 does equal 2, but we shared how we can change it to any number we want. Veronica, glad to have you. Trey Perry, so glad to have you on today. And I see a lot of you that are on. We're airing across 8 different platforms right now: LinkedIn Live, Twitter, Facebook, multiple Facebook pages, YouTube, iHeartRadio, a lot of places. But if you don't type a comment, I would have to like really look at each of these platforms to be able to acknowledge you. But I do see all of you out there, and I do appreciate and love each and every one of you, whether you typed a comment or not. Let's see. Because I see all of the different platforms, and some of you are commenting, some of you are still on and just supporting. I see you, Mother Julia Harper, too, 83 years old, and always supporting the Kim Jacobs Show. Thank you so much. No, you are right and so true. She was talking about when you were talking about relationships and things. Absolutely spot on. Word on the street, DA Street is here. This is another talk show host, Nancy Parham. She said, word on the street, and she is my cousin as well, and she is on visiting today. Your allowance is acceptance, Trey Perry said. It's so true, and I can attest to this mentality in the past until I decided it was time to be accountable and take my peace and happiness back.
Good.
When did you take your own peace and happiness back? I know you said you were happily divorced, and so I don't know how much you want to talk about that. But when did you take your own happiness and peace back?
So there were a couple of things that had happened. I was preparing for a conference, and I hadn't slept for a couple of days, which was something that was normal, things that I just normally did. Like, it's okay to not sleep. It's not okay.
It's not okay. Not at all.
Not okay. And the fact that you are able to function off of 3 to 4 hours of sleep, it's just not okay. Being functional doesn't mean that you're healed. That's two different things, right? We want to be healed and whole. Being functional does not mean that you are healed. So here it was, a couple of days, I hadn't slept. I created this like bomb presentation on obtaining and maintaining order in the workspace. And so I was going to be delivering at a conference of decision makers and leaders. And so I was done. I was happy with it. Now it was time for me to pack my bag and get ready to go. So I go and I lean over to grab a suitcase that was empty. And I felt like a knife go in my back and then come all the way up to my neck. And I stood up, and then that knife feeling went right into my chest. And I couldn't even like yell out for my daughter. But listen to this. I go back to the side of the bed, lay down. I wait for the pain to subside. And I get up and pack and go to the conference.
Oh, so then you get a warning sign. You got a warning.
And still, and our bodies will whisper until it has to yell. But our bodies will always whisper first. But some of us don't even know how to be still enough to connect and engage our emotions, not to mention our bodies. We can't even sit in our anger. We can't sit in our disappointment. We don't know how to be still. And so the limited capacity to be still cuts off the communication that we need to have with our bodies.
Wow.
And so I'm presenting at this conference through the pain, and that was my last memory. My next memory is me in an ambulance, and I remember opening my eyes when I heard African-American female, early 40s, possible heart attack. And when I heard that, my eyes opened.
You said possible heart attack.
Yeah, the EMT was like, "Can you swallow these aspirin? Can you chew on these aspirin?" And I remember in that moment, everything that was important to me lost all importance. And the things that I had neglected for so many years to get to where I was in business meant everything to me. My children, family, peace, relaxation, laughter. It meant everything to me. And in that moment, I made a decision that I was going to live drastically different. I remember I was on my knees and I was praying and I was telling God to take it from me. Not only the medical issue, but all of the obstacles that were happening at once. My businesses were hemorrhaging. I thought it was failure. It wasn't failure, it was transition. Don't mistaken transition for failure. God was transitioning me out of that because he did not want me to live like that. I'm having dinner with family. I'm getting calls. This person's suicidal. This child cut. I get it, but it just wasn't my season anymore. And so God was trying to transition me into Ask Shelly Consulting. He wanted me to speak. He no longer wanted me to trade my time for money. So here I am. And listen to this. So I'm on my knees and I'm asking God to take it away. And God said, I'm not in the business of abortions. Because if God would have taken the obstacle away, I would have aborted my destiny. He needed me to go through watching those things hemorrhage. He needed me to lose everything that I had placed so much value in that really wasn't valuable. And I had to start all over again. And when I had to start all over again, I was forced to do everything that I had taught in sessions, everything that I had preached on the pulpit, everything that I had spoken about in women's conferences and all that. God said, you will never, ever speak about something you haven't dealt with yourself again. Because see, we can't take people to destinations we haven't arrived. You'll get a team, you'll get a room full of motivated people that don't change.
All right. Well, on that note, because you ain't going to break me down like this on my own show. Okay. On that note, we're going to take a brief commercial break and we're going to come right back and hear more from Shelly Fanfine. Wow.
My father had 4 of his fingers amputated in a workplace accident. It was the first injured individual I represented. And I knew I had to win that case. When someone walks into my office and they've been injured, I know what they're going through. If you've been injured at work with Hunter and Everett. We've got the experience, so let us help you.
Yeah. All right. Shelly, fun. I'm sure we could be friends and hold each other accountable on this journey called life. Yeah. I'll just say when you are stripped down to the bare bones and you still, especially I can only speak for myself, and you're still a public person, it is so, this is me. I'm only speaking, this is me, Kim, that's saying this. It's a few ways that you can deal with situations like that. You can go into hiding. That's one option, right?
Yeah.
Go into hiding. Or you can stand flat-footed and you can say, you know what, God? I'm still your example. I'm just a willing vessel. And this is the season that I'm in.
Wow.
And the public is getting an opportunity to see how I deal with this season of my life. This season of my life. I could go into hiding and say, oh, I'm going to take a sabbatical. I'll be back and I'll be back. And it's okay. And it's okay. And it's nothing wrong with that either. So let me be clear, not judging anyone that takes their approach that God put in their heart to do, because that's not for me to do one way or the other. But what he's put in my heart to do is when I go through my difficult seasons, when my son died, I came to church. Why? Because where else am I going to go? I got to still praise my Lord and Savior. He's still my Lord and Savior, is where I say I want to be. I want to get to heaven. Heaven is going to be my home, right? Then my son just got there before I did.
Woo!
Right? His first night of staying away from home, like he didn't go and hang out over a friend's house and stay overnight, was when he was in that morgue and was transitioned to heaven. Guess what? It's easier said than done when it's time for us to be able to live our lives, even in our difficult seasons, for people that are able to know, they know what you're going through, or at least they think they know what you're going through.
Yeah.
And you still standing, you still there. How are you doing that?
Wow.
By the grace of God. through his mercy.
Yes.
So anyway, yeah, what you just shared right there just was a trigger for me because I'm dealing with a lot of different things, circumstances in my own life, and I am determined to let my light still shine
Amen.
before man. All right, so self-sabotaging. Okay, Trey, now you see
Woo.
you asked that, you said that comment and got all this drama started and sparked. Okay, let's see. Let me just go to some final comments because we're getting ready to close out. I know while we're looking at these comments, you're heavily into sex trafficking as an advocate. I see quite a few things that are on your bio, and I want to make sure I don't miss anything. You're ordained minister and you're set out to change the world one life at a time. And you already doing that total life prosperity by applying practical principles that cause people's lives to live in their smiles. Why in their smiles? Talk about that for a second.
Well, when we smile, whether it's fake or not, right? Even when we are trying to fake it, right?
Right.
When we smile, it represents happiness. It represents joy. As a matter of fact, there are muscles in our faces that we can only engage when we smile. And when we smile and those muscles are engaged, it sends a message to our brains that we're happy. You can even fake your brain into thinking that you're happy.
Well, look,
but
you have me like, people be like, what's wrong with her? And be like that.
When you want to beat somebody up, right?
Like, something's wrong.
It just represents freedom and laughter and joy and acceptance and peace. And so living in our smiles is the goal, where our happiness and our satisfaction is not dependent on external circumstances, but it's an overflow from within. Yes, that's what living in our smiles is about.
I love it. I love it. And then you have Ask Shelly, the Ask Shelly show that you're the host of weekly. How can people, if they go to AskShelly.com, will they see everything?
So they can see the replays of the show on YouTube. Look for me at Ask Shelly. You can subscribe every time I go live. You'll get a notification. They can also find me on Instagram and Facebook at Ask Shelly.
All right. Everywhere, Ask Shelly, guys. So if you all just type in Ask Shelly, which I have her website right here, Ask Shelly, which is spelled for those that are the podcast listeners, is SCHELLIE. Okay. AskShelly.com. That's where you're going to find everything that you need to know about this beautiful soul that's here with us today. The show is coming to an end, but I do want to, you shared a link that has 30 types of self-sabotaging behaviors and what we can do about it. So for this holiday season, do that self-assessment and make sure that you don't find yourself self-sabotaging yourself. You are also a member of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. Let me put that up. Go ahead and tell us about your role within Zeta Phi Beta Sorority.
Absolutely. So I became a member November 27th, 1994. I'm thinking some of your listeners probably weren't even born then. But I've been a member for the longest time, held many different offices. I'm the immediate past state parliamentarian. And so Zeta is a very significant part of my life, and just serving the community and changing communities one life at a time is what we do.
That's good. Very good. And I do not want to disconnect without giving the opportunity to see some more very important people in your life. Who is this handsome gentleman?
So this is my dad, and this is such an important picture to me. So my father has Parkinson's disease. And we were in New York at the time. He lives in Kissimmee, Florida. And we went to New York because my uncle had passed away. So this was the first time in a long time that my dad was around family members. And in that picture, I remember watching him from across the backyard, like, he's not shaking, not one tremor. And I was like, and he had like this cute little smile on, and I just ran and I sat on his lap. And that's why this picture is so important. I mean, no tremors at all. It was amazing that he was so happy to be around family that
Oh,
it impacted his health. So that's that picture.
that is so memorable. And
Yeah.
then I have these these two here that I'm gonna put up.
That is my son in the front, Philippe. He's 18 going on 40. He's in college now, so he reminds me every chance he gets that he doesn't have to ask me for permission to do anything.
Oh, Lord.
My daughter's 20.
Here we go, Philippe.
I know. She's a dance major at the Alvin Ailey School of Dance in Manhattan, and she's also a psychology major at Fordham. So.
What's her name again?
Itana.
Itana.
Yes.
She's beautiful. Wow. I would love to see one of her performances in the future. And this one right here is, I think, you and your son being silly.
So yeah, he gets he brings the gangster out. That part of me is still very much alive sometimes, and so he knows how to pull that out of me. So yeah.
Oh, that is awesome. Awesome. Listen, everybody, make sure you all know that you can support the Kim Jacobs Show. Is the only way that our program thrives, and we're able to bring wonderful experts on like Shelly Fonfon and many that you've witnessed throughout 2021. And you'll hear some more throughout the rest of this year. But make sure that you pour into our ministry and support the Kim Jacobs Show. These are some of the ways you can screenshot and support in any way you can. No amount is too small, and it's always a blessing, and it helps me be able to keep our staff alive, because these people put all of these templates and all of these things that you see to keep the show operational, the flyers and everything. And it also allows us to bring balance to the world, one household at a time. So thank you for all of you that are online contributors already. Subscribe to the Kim Jacobs Show right on our YouTube channel. I really would appreciate your support in that capacity. And if you would like to get your story shared with the world, sharing your gift, your talent, or you want to bring other experts on to further share and connect with your tribe of individuals and followers in your community, go to kimjacobsconsulting.com, and I will be able to help you do a training that's 6 weeks. We do 1 hour per week for 6 consecutive weeks to be able to train you on how to start your own show from scratch. And we do offer financing as well as zero interest. So you have those options. If you click on the big sign that says go now, you ready to take the challenge, go now, it'll share all of the options with you. All right. Do you have any closing comment?
Everybody needs an ass. That's a accountability support system. Everybody needs a big ass, an accountability support system. ASS. Get an accountability.
What the shit is that just say on this show? I was like trying to figure it out. I was like, wait, I gotta get the glasses right. Did she say
an acronym? It's an acronym for accountability support system. We all need it to hold us accountable, no matter what level of function you are at.
Accountability. I'm going to spell that out. I'm not going to put it all together. Accountability. S is what? Support. And then
system.
What? Okay.
Accountability.
So I'm just separate. You're going to see how I
system.
did it. I did it like this. Okay. So everybody needs a accountability support system. So y'all can clump it together if you want, but there you go.
Yeah.
S and another S.
Yes.
Accountability, support, and system. Okay.
It's a very powerful way to keep yourself in line with your goals. A support system that's their entire goal is to keep you aligned with your goals.
Okay. Well, you've done everything you can to help people on this show today. I see you. Wow is what my sister Ruth said. Ruth, I'm so glad that God is just healing your body, and she's been dealing with like stage 3 cancer, and God is just completely healing her body. She's gaining weight, and she is a walking, living testimony. Amen. She's given over 100 toys in her community, going from place to place, just blessing every child. This woman is an inspiration to the world. Amen. And Ruth, anytime you can come on the Kim Jacobs Show and share your story. She puts her scars and her cuts and her ports and stuff on her Facebook page. This is her daughter's page because she doesn't use Facebook that much, so she's on her daughter's page. But her name is Ruth. but she'll put all of that because she wants people to see the miraculous transformation of how
Amen.
God is using her as a living, walking testimony.
Amen.
Love you, Ruth. I celebrate you. Oh, wait. Let's see. Mother Lofton. Mother Patricia Lofton is a state supervisor of women in the Church of God in Christ over many different, throughout the North Carolina second jurisdiction, hundreds upon hundreds of thousands of women that she's one of our leaders that leads us as women. Don't mistake transition for failure. Wow. Yes, that's right. Oh my God. It's not by chance that I'm watching this, Kim. I love you. I love you, Ruth. Trey Perry says, we're going to get off. We're going to get off. This is holiday season. So we're going to close it out here, but we can't ignore the red flags and warnings. I experienced a TIA, mini stroke in 2012.
Wow.
And that did it for me. She said, I hit the brakes on things that was putting so much into but wasn't getting any output. This message, that was a message, and I listened. When she had that TIA, she said that was a message, and she listened. Thank you all so much for sharing your comments and being such a engaged studio audience. This is good. God bless you. Yes, Mother Lofton. Charles is an awesome guy. Oh, Attorney Charles Everidge. Yes, definitely. Every person that we've sent his way, they've had a wonderful outcome. Attorney Charles Everidge with Hunter Everidge Law Firm. Give them a call. You won't be disappointed. I can promise you that for sure. Every person has come back and said, Kim, we won that. We won that. I was like, all right. All right. Absolutely spot on. No, you are right. And so true. Okay. All right. I see all of your comments coming in. I see some hagglers as well. So I'm not going to put you up. I can see you, but only the people on your platform can see you, not on other platforms. Okay. Okay, V, I'll put your little comment. Sounds good. ASS it is. There you go. Shelly Fonfon. That name was for a reason. I love this show as well. Thank you, Mrs. Shelly. Okay. Everybody have a wonderful, merry and blessed Christmas. And I hope that you and your families will do nothing but have love, hugs, and joy and happiness. No self-sabotaging, only self-love this holiday season, okay?
Yes.
And sex trafficking, because that's going to happen during the holidays. What do you want to say about that? You're an advocate. I don't want to get off without you saying anything. I know we went over today for the first time in a long time, y'all. But go ahead, Shelly. Say something about
just,
you're an advocate.
Understand that it happens under our noses. And so when you see something that isn't right, report it. That's it. When it doesn't look right, it doesn't feel right. Like this is a child, but you can tell that they just don't seem comfortable or attached. It's a woman, even young boy. I can go into the signs and we'll be here a whole nother hour. So I'll just say this. If it doesn't feel right and it doesn't look right, report it. It's better to over-report than to not, because sex trafficking happens right under our noses.
But when you say that, because I do want to make sure I keep my eyes open, and I'm always on the lookout. But how do I know what to look for? It's like I can see situations that look bizarre to me, but then it's like, oh, but maybe that's just in your mind, Kim. Do I automatically and where do I call? What do I do?
You can call the police and indicate that, you were at the airport and you saw a child that appeared to be very scared, and the adults that they were with didn't seem to be very nurturing, and you have some concerns about that. Or if you are in a nail salon and you're noticing that there's a man doing all the talking for the woman, and you see that there is that the body language is communicating fear. There's a certain posture and look that victims have when they're being exploited. And it's so hard to explain, but you can almost feel it. You can just feel it. It doesn't feel good. And I recommend that individuals kind of open their eyes. Sometimes when we're seeing women, for example, this is just an example, women selling their bodies in the street, we automatically assume prostitution. But that prostitution comes by way of lots of exploitation, and manipulation, and that makes it human sex trafficking. And so sometimes we believe and automatically assume that it's all voluntary. But anytime there's another person that's gaining or benefiting financially off of these sales, that's trafficking, that's exploitation. And so if you have the heart to just reach out to someone that you may see in the streets and let them know that there's help for them, speak life into them, it's important, because a lot of the times they feel that they can't leave and they can't get away. They have been conditioned to believe that there is no freedom for them, or there's nothing better that they can achieve in life. And so keep your eyes open. It happens everywhere. It happens in all different types of communities. It's not just happening in poor communities. And so it's important that if you see something that isn't right, say something, report it. Because again, it happens right under our noses.
Wow. I'm really glad that I did take this extra few minutes and go with you with that. Thank you all so much for tuning in to today's episode. It was absolutely incredible. Are you going to eat a lot of good food over there during this holiday season, Shelly?
Absolutely. But I am not self-sabotaging my health goals. And so self-discipline will definitely be on the agenda.
Yes. And if you all want to go follow a program, go to Courtney Wellness Companion. We've been on a Taste the Rainbow Challenge. Courtney with 2 E's, Courtney Wellness Companion. And that Taste the Rainbow Challenge has kept us accountable. Yesterday was Orange Day, so I had to eat an orange or something orange. There was a fruit or a vegetable. Today, I think it's Green Day. I had to eat some broccoli and avocado. Y'all just be cutting all kind of stuff up, whatever's on that color for the day. So join the challenge if you're interested in that as well. Courtney Wellness Companion. All right, everybody, that's our episode for today. And thank you for staying with us just a little bit longer today. Have a great one, Shelly. I'll talk to you right quick backstage. And have a great one, everybody. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. I'll see you soon. And keep tuning in at 11 o'clock a.m. weekdays. Bye-bye. Hello, everyone. I'm Kim Jacobs, host of The Kim Jacobs Show, where we're bringing balance to the world one household at a time. Listen, we go live every weekday, Monday through Friday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I bring guests on that talk about their backstories, things that they've had to overcome to become who they are today. Many of them are balancing and juggling life, and they've become experts in different fields. So they're sharing tips with you to make your life just a little bit easier. Many times as a guest in the studio audience, you'll get a chance to walk away with a missing piece of the puzzle that might be missing in your life. Let's go on this journey together, and I look forward to seeing you Monday through Friday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on The Kim Jacobs